Hey everybody, I'm frequently asked what the oldest manuscript of any biblical passage we have is. And usually the Dead Sea Scrolls are what people are going to answer. Those were transcribed somewhere between around 250 BCE and around 68 CE. And they preserve our oldest copies of almost every last passage of the Bible. There's one exception, though. There is one passage from the Bible that is preserved in a manuscript, more accurately etched in silver scrolls, that is almost 400 years older than the Dead Sea Scrolls. These are what are known as the Ketephenome scrolls, or the Ketephenome silver amulets. These are little strips of silver. The one on the left is just under 4 inches long and about an inch wide. The one on the right is about half an inch wide and about an inch and a half long. These would have been rolled up tight. They would have been kept in a little pouch of some kind, and they would have been worn as a necklace, as an apotropaic amulet. And apotropaic means it would be used to ward off evil. And in my book that you can find for free on my link tree, I talk about how the inscription of the divine name on these silver scrolls is likely what rendered them effective at warding off evil. And they were buried with someone in a rock-cut bench tomb on the northern end of the Hinnom Valley, and they were probably thought to have protected that individual through the afterlife as well. Now, there is text inscribed on here. It's a little hard to see, so here's a drawing I did for my book. Makes it a little easier to see what's written on there in the old Hebrew characters. The scroll on the left has some references that sound an awful lot like passages in Exodus 20 and in Deuteronomy 5 and 7, and then toward the end has this famous phrase, "May Adonai make his face to shine," and then we have a fuller representation of the priestly blessing from Numbers 6, verses 24 through 26, and the scroll on the right. May Adonai bless you and keep you. May Adonai make his face to shine upon you. And then there are some other references to Adonai as a helper and a rebuker of evil. Here's a translation of what is inscribed on the two silver scrolls, known as KT1 and KT2. It's not exactly identical to the priestly blessing from Numbers 6, but very, very close. It's very clear there's a genetic relationship between the two. Now, what I find particularly fascinating about this is these scrolls attest to the independent apotropaic use of what we now know as the priestly blessing. And there's an argument to make that these scrolls predate the incorporation of the priestly blessing into the book of Numbers. In other words, these may not be early manuscripts of the book of Numbers. These scrolls may predate the composition of the book of Numbers and may show us how a text that was later incorporated into the book of Numbers functioned independently before the book of Numbers was even composed. And I find that absolutely fascinating.